Charles Karl Panzram, the notorious serial killer. Welcome to The Most Evil, where we delve into the minds of history's most notorious serial killers. Today we delve into the chilling life of one of America's most notorious and remorseless criminals, Charles Karl Panzram, a man whose name strikes fear and fascination. His reign of terror spanned multiple states and even countries, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. Karl Panzram was born on June 28, 1891, in East Grand Forks, Minnesota. He grew up in a large, impoverished family and experienced severe abuse from a young age. Panzram's parents were very angry about having their children sent to school during the day and forced them to work in the fields throughout the night instead. Panzram reflected on his early childhood with the sentiment that he was not liked by other children. His parents were German immigrants who struggled to provide for their children, and the environment at home was harsh and unforgiving. At the age of 11, Panzram ran away from home and began his life of crime. He was repeatedly incarcerated in juvenile facilities where he was subjected to further abuse, which only fueled his hatred for humanity. By his early teens, Panzram exhibited alcoholism and had a lengthy criminal rap sheet. Panzram's criminal career was extensive and brutal. He confessed to killing at least 21 people and committing thousands of acts of arson, burglary, and theft. His most heinous crimes included the rape and murder of young boys. Panzram often targeted transient youths. His crimes were not confined to the United States. He also committed atrocities in several countries. All of Panzram's victims were men of different ages, races, and professions, some of them just children. His preference for young boys as victims highlighted his deeply twisted psyche. Many of his murder victims were forcibly sodomized as a way to torture and humiliate them, as were a great number of men Panzram raped and didn't kill. Panzram obtained his victims in different ways. Most of them he hired for some job, and some he attacked at gunpoint or by drugging them beforehand. Most murder victims were killed either by being shot with a stolen Colt M19 weapon or being beaten to death, though a few were also strangled. The investigation into Panzram's crimes was hampered by his transient lifestyle and the lack of communication between law enforcement agencies in different jurisdictions. He left a trail of bodies and destruction, but authorities struggled to connect the dots. It wasn't until his final arrest that the full extent of his criminal activities came to light. The police were initially unaware of the magnitude of his crimes, but Panzram's own confessions provided a gruesome roadmap of his murderous rampage. Panzram was ultimately captured in 1928 after a botched robbery attempt in Washington, D.C. He was arrested and imprisoned, where he confessed to his numerous crimes. Panzram later wrote that he had contemplated mass murders and other acts of mayhem, such as poisoning a city's water supply with arsenic. His detailed confessions, written in his own words, provided chilling insight into his mind and the breadth of his criminal activities. Despite his confessions, Panzram showed no remorse and often expressed a desire to continue his killing spree. His capture marked the end of a reign of terror that had spanned decades. Panzram was hanged on September 5, 1930. As officers attempted to place the customary black hood over his head, he spat in the executioner's face. Psychologists have studied Panzram extensively, viewing him as a classic example of a sociopath with deep-seated anger and resentment towards society. His childhood abuse and subsequent brutal experiences in reformatories and prisons likely exacerbated his violent tendencies. Panzram's writings, filled with hatred and vitriol, offer a rare glimpse into the mind of a serial killer who operated with complete moral detachment. Karl Panzram's reign of terror ended with his execution by beheading on September 5, 1930. His story serves as a grim reminder of the evil that can lurk behind a facade of normalcy.
If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content on true crime and psychological analysis. Remember to stay vigilant, and until next time, stay safe.